Welcome to the channel, and in this video, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time, 2016's Green Room, a genre movie where a punk band ends up being trapped in a green room after witnessing a murder at a venue that's run by neo-Nazis. So they gotta find a way out and survive an onslaught by these white supremacists. I was pretty excited to check this movie out because I was a huge fan of Jeremy Saulnier's previous film, Blue Ruin, and the fact that this movie had ties to my favorite music genre, and the movie did not disappoint me. It was also right around the time when A24 was starting to really become the studio to look out for. They were putting out some bangers like Enemy, The Witch, The Rover, Under the Skin, Ex Machina, Slow West, and Mississippi Grind. Jeremy came up with the idea for the movie originally before Blue Ruin, but it would have been too costly to make, but with the new added credibility thanks to Blue Ruin, he went back to the idea that he had. Jeremy was in a punk band in the early 90s called The Ain't Rights, which he would use for the band name in this movie, and the songs they play in the film are the songs he used to perform.
I ask myself, what have I become?
With the exception of the Dead Kennedys cover of Nazi Punk's Fuck Off.
Nazi punks, Nazi punks, Nazi punks, fuck off!
Anton Yelchin, Alia Shawkat, Colin Turner, and Joe Cole play The Ain't Rights. Anton and Alia were the only ones that had experience playing music. Anton was actually in a punk band. Alia's role was originally written for a dude, and Jeremy didn't make a change to the script just to avoid gender cliches, and she naturally feels like the one that keeps everyone in line in a sort of managerial position in the band. They set up a rehearsal space and were given lessons by a local band from the Portland area. Jeremy set the movie in the Pacific Northwest due to the fact that there were some prevalent white supremacy groups. Some actually tried to be extras in the film, but they were turned away politely. Macon Blair, Jeremy's childhood friend and the star of Blue Ruin, plays the sort of mild-mannered one in this group of neo-Nazis. Mark Webber, who you might remember from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, plays a character that you think is just another loyal member in this gang, but actually ends up turning on them. Imogen Poots plays Amber, an innocent bystander that ends up having to team up with the Ain't Rights. Imogen previously worked with Anton in the Fright Night remake, a remake that I really enjoy, and if you don't agree with me, well...
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
The big get for this movie was Patrick Stewart playing the leader of this group of neo-Nazis. Stewart was under the same management as Jeremy and loved the script despite it terrifying him, and while he was reading it, he would lock every door in his house. Stewart is just great in the role, and you immediately forget that he was Jean-Luc Picard or Charles Xavier, and you buy into him as this sinister leader. The film was shot over a month and mainly shot in sequential order to help make it easier to maintain the continuity of all the mayhem. They did shoot the very ending of the film first, and Anton Yelchin's head was shaved for this scene, so for the rest of the shoot he's wearing a wig, and I had never noticed that until watching the behind the scenes. All the songs were played live, and Callum Turner does a good job playing lead vocals despite having no singing experience. He listened to a lot of Minor Threat and Bad Brains before the shoot, and you can hear the Ian MacKaye influence in his voice. Also, Anton Yelchin is sporting a Minor Threat shirt throughout most of the film. And a little fun fact, my first tattoo that I ever got was the Minor Threat Out of Step EP cover. Like Jeremy's previous film, he's really great at building tension, and once shit hits the fan, the movie does not really let up at all. The fear and dread is palpable, the violence is visceral and gruesome. I wish the movie wasn't so bleak at times, but it just adds to the realism. Like if I had written it or was one of the producers on it, I would want everyone to live, and these Nazi fucks would get theirs, but Jeremy is not a happy Hollywood ending kind of filmmaker. This movie shows just how fucking feral people will get. I don't watch this movie often because it is a dreadful movie to watch, but in the best way possible. It was my favorite film of 2016, but any film that has a main character wearing a Minor Threat shirt is an automatic 10-star film for me, so I am a bit biased. The movie was also one of Anton Yelchin's last performances. He tragically died soon after the film was released, and he was a super talented actor, and it didn't matter if you thought the movie was any good, he always delivered a dynamic performance. So rest in peace, Anton. Green Room still only has a Blu-ray here in the States. Lionsgate would put out A24's films on physical media, but A24 over the past couple of years have started releasing their films themselves. It's been mainly their newer films, and they haven't really delved into their older catalog. Not sure if there's some sort of licensing issue with Lionsgate that's keeping them from putting out films like this out on 4K, or giving it a much cooler and collector-friendly edition. This Blu-ray comes with an audio commentary with Jeremy, and a 10-minute featurette on the making of the film. If you haven't picked this up, it's definitely worth it. It's currently like $12 on Amazon. There was a 5-pack that was an exclusive to Walmart that came packed with this movie, along with X, The Witch, Hereditary, and It Comes at Night. It doesn't have a streaming home right now, but it's available to rent or buy on any video on demand service. Green Room did get a 4K overseas by Second Sight Films in the UK. There was a limited edition version that I missed out on and is now super pricey on the secondary market. This regular edition was available at Grindhouse Video for a good price, so I jumped on it because I've lost faith in this movie getting a cool edition here in the States. The new special features are on the 4K, and what typically steers me away from importing is that the new special features will always be on a separate Blu-ray disc, and that disc is always region locked, and I don't have a region-free player at the moment. So usually the main reason for me to import is for the new special features, and getting the movie on 4K is cool, and if it comes with added stuff like a booklet or art cards is nice, but I want to be able to watch the newly added features. This edition comes with 5 new special features. There's an extensive interview with Jeremy that goes over the entire production, and it ends with him talking about Anton, and the interview cuts off because he starts to get very emotional talking about him. Callum Turner was the only actor interviewed for this, and he talks about how thrilled he was to be in it, and it was his first American movie. He brings up how they performed at the wrap party, and by the end of the film, they really felt like a real band. The composers Will and Brooke Blair were interviewed, and they've known Jeremy since they were younger because Jeremy had been making films with their brother Macon since they were kids. There's also an interview with the production designer and a really good video essay on the film by Thomas Caldwell. If you have a 4K player, then I would suggest picking this up before it goes out of print. I also bought the CD soundtrack, and I like how the cover is an homage to The Clash's London Calling. And I bought this because I do really dig those songs by the Ain't Rights, and I believe this version is the actors performing them, but I couldn't find out if that was true or if the songs were actually performed by an actual band for this recorded version. The singer does sound like it's Callum Turner. The liner note was written by Jeremy, and I can't express just how cool it is, for me at least, to see a filmmaker talk so passionately about punk music, and specifically hardcore punk music, because punk music and pop culture is always just the most played out shit. Thanks for watching this video on one of my favorite films. Let me know what your thoughts are on Green Room in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a movie time.